Hello traders, today is Tuesday, September 24, 2024. We are going to go over, I guess, 8 names today. So let's get to it. As per usual, this is not financial advice. Please make sure to do your research and due diligence before you try to invest any of your capital in any type of equities or investments. That being said, let's start with Apple. And been mentioning Apple quite often. I do believe I'm a little bit bullish on Apple, and to be honest, for the most part, the way I like to trade, I try to be as neutral as possible, because normally I don't care if I go long or short depending on the trend. That being said, I've been day trading Apple quite often in the past 2 weeks. I did it today, I did it yesterday, and I wouldn't say it was easy, but I think that the way the chart is behaving sometimes, in my opinion, is a little bit predictable. I did have a swing, an overnight swing from yesterday that I did buy somewhere in this area, I believe, and I sold on the first candle. And then I left it alone. Sometimes when I see this type of charts, I'm like, well, why didn't I go the opposite direction if I was getting, out of this position? That also tells you that you have some sort of, idea that the price is going to reverse. Well, I didn't take that. I guess I didn't buy puts or anything, but I actually let it go. And then I did buy right on this area. I bought a call, a couple of calls here, and then I did buy another one or a couple of more calls somewhere in this area. I wasn't trading on volume or anything like that, in the sense like I wasn't buying a lot of contracts. And then I did sell somewhere, I believe, somewhere around here. I was already green and not by a large margin, but I just left it alone, and I think I'm gonna jump on this again. In general terms, if we go to the one to the daily chart, I do believe that there is definitely a good opportunity here to continue going towards 233. But as I said yesterday, I believe we're probably gonna be ranging here for a couple of days. If we break 225, which is this support level right here, then your next support level is going to be the 35 SMA. I at least in the next few or this week, I really don't think we're gonna go under this level, but you never know. But anyways, I've been playing this name. Just keep an eye on these two levels. I have 233 as resistance and 225 as support. Those are your levels right here. And again, I've been day trading Amazon, and it's been Apple, and it's been quite lucrative for me in the last 2 weeks. Anyways, let's move on to the next name, and that is AFRM, and another name that I've been mentioning quite often. And let me take a note right here. What I was saying today was quite interesting. What I was saying is, and you want to go down to this 42 resistance level and wait for these indicators to cool down. Is not happening yet. Maybe you might ask why. Well, if you see the behavior of this candle right here, it went down all the way to 42, maybe a little bit lower. We're going to see the 1 minute chart or the 5 minute chart, and then it actually came back to basically being flat. It was today, it closed at minus 0.11, so it was pretty flat today. Let's go to the 5 minute chart, and then you're gonna see, look at this level right here. So this is a level that my suggestion to all of you, you gotta trade with levels. So this is how far back I did put this level right here, and this was back to basically almost a year, December of 2023. And here we are, and it's respecting this level almost exactly at that point. Let's go back to the 5 minute chart. Excuse me. You can see this, that it bounced right here and then came back very nicely. So it was a sell-off. Let's go to the 1 minute so I can see this better. There was a sell-off in the beginning of the trading session. Here we are. This is the 24th. This is today. It really sold off, went right to this level, and then it came back up. This was very nice. You also had, even though it's a 1 minute chart, some indications that this was going to continue going up, especially the 35 SMA was going over the 200 SMA. But again, keep in mind, this is a 1 minute chart, so there is not a lot of structure in this in this chart. And yeah, as you can see on the 5 minute chart, is not, the 35 SMA is not even close to the 200 SMA. But that, being said, it came back very nicely, and you can see this formation here, even with better perspective than you would see on the 1 minute chart. You had a double bottom here. If you were day trading a firm today, it was a nice day for trading a firm, for day trading. Anyways, again, I do believe that it would be optimal for this name to continue going down. So we see a cool off right here on the MACD and the TSI. And the MACD is kind of getting there right now. It's about to cross this line. And yeah, I think going down to 42 again, retest this level, or 42.50, and then going back up to 45. That would be optimal. There is a little bit of exhaustion here on the MACD. The TSI still has strength, and the RSI is still overbought. So another bullish thing, I guess, here, even though I'm talking about, this stock taking a breather, the 35 SMA is looking pretty strong on its direction towards the 200 SMA. That's I guess, a thing to point out. There is a little more volume right here of buyers coming in, and you can see that buyers really came back today. So anyways, just keep an eye on this 42.50 support level. If we break and continue, I would be honestly a little bit worried, because it would probably break down and pull back a little bit more in a more dramatic fashion. But other than that, I do believe that if we stay in this range, it would be pretty optimal for a firm to then continue going up towards 52. I think this level right here is 52. Let me take a look if it is. I can see it, but I think this should be 52. So that's what I have for a firm. Let's move on to another name that I was day trading today, and I have a swing position, and that is Amazon. And sorry, I'm taking notes. Let's get rid of this. I was day trading with Fibonacci levels. Anyways, this still looked pretty good. It's not very extended on the MACD and the TSI. They're close enough to the zero line. The RSI is not overbought, and it was flat today. It wasn't a bad day, but let's take a look at this level right here that I did put based on this double top right here, which is, by the way, if you were following these videos since I think May or so, I was talking about this double top right here, and then I went short in this area, and then I did take some calls, but I didn't take this whole run. Anyways, I do believe I did put this level right here, and it's respecting it very, very, especially today was pretty impressive. Let's go to the 1 minute, and I'll tell you what happened here. If you go to this candle, I was looking at this in the morning while I was trading it, and I was pretty impressed. It touched it twice, and then it went back up. That was super nice. I did buy calls right here, and then I bought calls right here. When you see the MACD and the TSI, I thought it was gonna start reversing in this area. You were already under the zero line, so I did buy, I think it was back here actually. But I bought I think 1 or 2 calls, and then I left it alone because I was like, well, this looks a little bit weak. Then it went down, and I was losing my mind because I was like, well, I was still not under 20%, which was my limit today. And I was like, well, are we getting there? And then I bought a couple of more over here, And then it continued going down, so it was a little nerve-wracking. And then in this area right here, I was like, after looking at this and looking at the RSI, I was like, this is going to start reversing. We were getting very close to the support level, so I was like, if we break support, then I'm going to sell and lose money, which I was okay with, but I wasn't going to be too happy with it. Then I bought a little bit more in this area right here, around 7, I think it was like 740 or something, somewhere in this area. And then it started just keep going up and up and up. Then I reduced my position. I sold a couple of calls, and then I left them alone. And those are the calls that now I have left for tomorrow. And towards the end of the day, this turned out pretty nicely. So Amazon has been having this kind of behavior as well, of going all the way down like this. What you saw on this was on Friday, and then it just came back. And that's what I was thinking today. I was like, I saw this last week, and is it happening again today? And on Friday, I actually bought a couple of calls and I didn't let it run. But in this case, I was like, I'm just gonna sell some of my position to get my capital back, and then let it run with whatever I have left over. And it's working out so far. So Amazon is looking good on the daily chart. Long term, I guess, is not bad. I think it's still, all things considered, is still kind of cheap. I do believe that we're going to rally towards 200 within the next few weeks. Maybe, I wouldn't say this week. I mean, tomorrow is already Wednesday. But there is not a lot of crazy news going on other than geopolitical news, and that could, ruin the party for everybody. But I like the fact that we were a little bit red today, but it wasn't a weekday. We're not oversold, overbought. We're not overextended. So we might get a couple of days. We might see a little bit of red tomorrow. Who knows? But we might have a couple of a choppiness or a zigzagging going towards 200. I wouldn't be surprised, and we're gonna hit all-time highs between by the end of the month, maybe. Anyways, that's what I have for Amazon. And let's take a look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, I made a short video, I think this morning, and what I was saying is that we were here. This looks very interesting. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 5 or 6 in the morning. It was 6 candles right under the 200 SMA, and it was getting rejected. Well, look at this new candle today that came out after, I believe, 5 p.m. I'm not sure. We are over that 200 SMA. This candle went over the 200 SMA as well. So I do believe that if there is more volume and momentum coming up, we are gonna hit 67. So my levels since the last week or 2 weeks were 52. We did hit 52, and then I was 57. When we were in this area, I was saying if we break 57, we go straight to 52. 54 is not gonna hold. That happened. We had this. Well, this is price action all the way down here, but we can consider maybe this a double bottom, even though you should consider price action all the time. This week is still price action. So anyways, you went down to 52, then you went back up to 57. You hit, this is 59.7, got rejected or retested, and then you went up over the 35 SMA. Now you're moving up over the 200 SMA. This could get quite interesting. Seriously. We'll see what happens. We'll see if more momentum comes in. What happens tonight, I don't know. But let's see if more momentum comes our way. And then we will see a move towards 67. Or if you retest that 200 SMA, that would be even better. And then you go towards 67. MACD and TSI are not overextended. And the TSI is showing a lot of strength. There is a good divergence right here, and it's continuing. RSI is pretty much is over the 50 line, but it's a little bit neutral in this area. It's not overbought. We want to see nice, maybe a little bit of a tiny consolidation between the 200 SMA and 67.3, and then you might actually break this level. This is looking quite interesting, but nothing is being said yet. You actually had in this area breaking the 200 SMA. There were even more volume in this area. And then you had a couple of candles that were pretty weak, and then you went down all the way down to 52. So beware of that kind of stuff, that kind of behavior that you might encounter. This level right here, the 200 SMA, is proving to be pretty stubborn, at least for now. But we'll see what happens. It's looking interesting. Keep an eye on this, on the 200 SMA. If you do charts, I totally recommend you to use the 200 SMA. It's a good idea. Anyways, let's take a look at Google. And look at this. I still like Google. I was talking about Google for a couple of weeks. You know, what I was saying is, like, if you get to the 145 level and you start filling this gap towards 142, it was going to be really a gift for everybody. But even in this area was still very, very cheap. We went back up. Beautiful move from 148 all the way up to where we are right now, 163. That's fantastic within how many trading days? Since September 11, pretty much. That is great. I mean, that is about 9 trading days or something, I don't know. This is fantastic. Now you're stuck on the 35 SMA, and also you're having a hard time breaking 164.5, which is your or 164, your resistance level. I think if we continue pushing, you know, over this level, I wouldn't be worried too much about the 35 SMA. We would just move towards 171. It's looking quite interesting. I still like Google. I don't have any positions on Google. I've been day trading this area, but you know, once I start seeing this kind of weakness, I leave the stock alone. I want the stock to tell me a story. I want the indicators to actually shape something for me that makes sense. You have a volume shelf right here that you have to break. So if you go over, I think we were at 163. If you go over 165, I think there is a good possibility that you're just going to move towards 171. Google is still super interesting. Option contracts are not that expensive. So just wait. I would wait a little bit, unless tomorrow, you know, you open with a gap of 1% or something, then you can assess your entry. But I like it. I like Google, just like I like Amazon, and I'm liking Apple. That's why I'm mentioning them today. Now let's take a look at another name that I like, and I've been talking about for a while, and that is HIMS. You know, I don't cover HIMS every day because I like to see how the chart develops and what kind of information I can get out of it. I trade based upon the chart for the most part. But what I said, I think 2 or 3 days ago when I covered HIMS, is that you need a little, that would be optimal to have a little bit of red, but also would be optimal to have a little bit of volume. And that's actually what happened. We had a couple of red days. This day was kind of scary, and this was on Friday. You were down 3.6%, and at one point I think it was down like 5%. That was a little bit problematic for me. But then you had a little bit of weakness on Monday. It was got almost 1%, and now today you actually closed at 5%. So I do like HIMS. I like the way it's behaving. You want to break that 35 SMA. I like to trade with this indicator, especially on the one day chart. You don't have a lot of volume or liquidity on this area. That is a good thing. That histogram is also telling you something. The MACD is about to cross the zero line. The same with the TSI, and the TSI is diverging from the signal line, which is a good thing. The TSI basically tells you the strength of the stock. That's what TSI means. It's a true strength indicator. So that's looking good. The RSI is pointing up, and you have like this level right here on the TSI as well. I like it. I think if we get more volume tomorrow, 18.7 is going to be is definitely going to be pretty possible within the next week or so, and I'm saying next week because tomorrow is already Wednesday. But again, you have low liquidity here. If there's a little bit of volume coming in and there's a little bit more of buyers in this area, the histogram is also telling you the same. There's more strength. I think that we're going to mount a 35 SMA. That's going to be your next support area, and then we can deal with resistance at 18.7. But even then, this area has low liquidity, so I wouldn't be surprised if you actually mount this level as well. HIMS is looking good. HIMS is looking good. I like it. What's next? Let's take a look at this chart, which, I saw a post on X about NVDA, and I was like, hey, let's take a look at that chart, and it's looking pretty crazy. And I'm not talking about the 1 minute chart. So let's talk about NVIDIA. And let me take a note really quick. Let's see. Take a look at this. You're mounting this resistance level, 117. Today was a pretty good day. I mean, at one point it was up like 5.5% or something. Where is this? We basically closed at 4% today. That's a pretty good day. I wouldn't be surprised in 2 weeks we're going to be at 130. That is crazy. Based upon this momentum, based upon how you're mounting the 35 SMA, now you have this trend line right here, which you're breaking. At the same time, you're mounting 17.4 resistance. So your next support level is basically 129. I mean, what else do we have here? Without adding just lines, just for the sake of adding lines. I mean, maybe you can put, not really. The only problem that I see here is that maybe you have a lot of liquidity, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think that once people start putting money in NVIDIA again, 130 is going to be pretty possible. So there is, let's take a look at the 1 minute because I want to share what I saw. And this was pretty cool. This was what time? This was like 7 in the morning. So you went down, you opened right here, right on this area. It was getting rejected on this resistance level, and it went all the way down to 115, and then it came back. It mounted the 35 SMA. The 35 SMA also ended up crossing the 200 SMA. Keep in mind, this is a 1 minute chart. So, but anyways, and then look at this. This was nutty. This was crazy. Now you're breaking over the. It retested this level right here, the resistance level at 17.4, and then you started moving with a lot of momentum. This was beautiful. And then when the stock actually started losing strength and losing momentum per se, nothing really happened on the side of the chart. It just lost a little bit of I guess, juice, but it still ended up riding the 35 SMA. Then it went down under, and it lost a little bit of traction, and then it came back towards closing. I mean, what can I tell you? I think NVIDIA, if a little bit more volume comes in, people are going to make money again. Look at this. I mean, this looks good. You can also argue this was a flag, which is pretty possible, right? It looks like one to me. And now it's moving back up. Let's take a look at the weekly chart and see what, look at this. It's not looking bad at all. It's still a little bit extended in my opinion on the MACD and the TSI, but that's irrelevant considering that how the chart is looking. So sometimes you can disregard what you're seeing on these two indicators based upon what the chart is showing you. If there's something that is way too obvious, then you shouldn't pay much attention to these two indicators. Anyways, on the 1 day chart, the MACD and the TSI, on the other hand, are looking pretty good. Look at this. The histogram is looking good. There is this was kind of neutral, and now is pointing up. There is a little bit more of a strength coming in, and there's more volume coming in. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens towards close of the week and see what we get on NVIDIA. Let's take a look at news. I have no idea. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating. Okay, whatever. NVIDIA stock rose 179% in the past year. Well, we'll know that. CEO. Oh yeah, the CEO also. I think he had programmed stock sales, and he's done for the year. So meaning the company. So yeah, so they're not mentioning that. So I read that the CEO finished he's done, at least for this year, selling stocks, and because it's part of the plan that some CEOs have, and they have to sell some of their equity on the company. Anyways, that's what I have for NVIDIA. And let's take a look to another name that I also mentioned yesterday, and that would be Tesla. Oh, this video, I'm doing this is my last ticket, and it's taking me 30 minutes. Okay, I'm talking too much. Look at this. It continues going up. I wouldn't be too worried about this doji candle. As I said yesterday, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of red, kind of like a candle like this, something like an inside day or something. And then, for a continuation towards 265. Tesla still has momentum. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. And yeah, it was a sell-off in the beginning of the day, and then it kind of came back, and basically you closed at 1.7. I like the fact that I actually came down and closed the gap right here, and then it went back up. This is not terrible. When you see it here with this doji, and you're like, well, this is kind of neutral and indecision and whatnot. Yeah, maybe. But it also, when you see the 5-minute or probably the 15-minute, you can see that buyers came in, and there was momentum towards close. We'll see what we get tomorrow. It would be optimal again to see a little bit of choppiness or red before we get to 65. 265. Excuse me. And that would be fantastic. There's momentum in Tesla. I like this move much better than this one. And the reason why is because it makes more sense. There is the stock is cooling down, and then it goes back up and cools down a little bit. So it's more normal, even though there's nothing normal about Tesla as far as the chart goes. Or I don't know. I've been trading Tesla for a while, and it's a headache. Anyways, MACD is looking good. TSI is looking good. Nothing is overbought. Nothing is showing any red flags so far. So as far as what I see on the chart, it's looking fantastic. It's looking pretty good. We're over this shelf right here, this volume shelf, and there's no liquidity in this area. So that is a good thing. All right, traders, that's all I have for today. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Bye-bye.